off, I am in the middle of a series right now called Grow Your List. And Grow Your List is all about really building an email list that is full of warm people, people that get what you're trying to do. They might be the right audience as far as, like the clients that you're looking for maybe your service that you're getting ready to launch or a product that you're getting ready to create. It might be the specific customer that you're looking for. But one thing that a lot of business owners tend to forget is an email list. And I am guilty of that as well. Okay. Like I had started one back when I first got started with everything with the Stationary Muse in 2016. I started a MailChimp. And the MailChimp was really just kind of there, like occasionally I would send out an email and just say, oh, there's a sale going on or something like that. And I was like occasionally collecting emails. And I want to say maybe over, I guess that would have been about 3 years. I had collected around maybe 100 to 300 something emails, somewhere between there. Because I remember when I officially got on Flowdesk, I did like what they call, like you can do like a manual upload. And I remember it was like, I want to say it was like 1 or 200 something. So, I was kind of, getting my feet wet and doing different things like that. But over the years, especially once 2019 came, I realized the importance of what it was to have an email list. And I've just always been passionate about it. Anyone that's ever worked with me, anyone in the membership that I worked with in the past, just anyone in general that has had a conversation with me about launching something, they already know that I'm a huge advocate for having an email list. And so it's no surprise that I'm doing another series on it because I think it's that important. And even with me taking a break over the summer, I really appreciated the email list that I had built because it allowed for me to slowly start showing up again to an audience that I knew was just a comfortable audience, right? I kind of view my email list as a place where I'm able to just add a little bit of extra zhuzh over there, get a little bit vulnerable sometimes, share my heart a little bit more. Not that I don't do that here on this channel, but I really value my email list and the people that took the time to, give me their information, to let me pop into their inbox. And I just really love that. And so I want that for everybody. And the reason I even shared kind of when I kicked off the series was how powerful it was when I took my break and I decided to come back and I was like, okay, I think I might want to do like a little birthday sale and different things. And I was able to do something like that without even having to really get on social media. And so there's a lot of power in having an email list for the connection, for the possibility to grow, for income, just so many different things. And of course, y'all know people always saying if social media was to shut down, you have a place, but it's true. It's a way for you to connect with the people that really matter the most, that are going to continue to help you move your business forward. And so that's why I decided to do another series on this. And I think this is a timely series because we're getting into the busy season of what most businesses would call, like Q4, right? We're getting into the holiday season. This is a busy season for content creators, service providers, product-based businesses, everybody and their mama, literally. It just can be very busy. And so that was why I thought it was a great time to just kind of remind you all about building up an email list, because it's just important to remember to provide the value before you're asking for the sale. Hey, Anita, thank you for joining. But yeah, so it's always important to provide the value. And so I'm not going to really get into a ton of that because I've shared some of that in a couple of the videos that I've kicked off the series. So make sure you check it out. But I wanted to just touch on a few extra things. So tonight, let's discuss some ways that we can increase the open rates of our emails, because this is something that is very important. And I think above all, like you can have 10,000 people on your email list, but if only 20% of people, or not even, let's say 4% of the people are opening the emails, or, something like that, it's like, well, what is really the benefit, right? If we're not getting people to actually click on things, if they're not even getting it in their inbox in the first place, which is a huge issue that a lot of people have, myself included. I've experienced it and was experiencing it. And so I was blessed to be able to be on a call with Flowdesk, which it's now live on their YouTube as well. So make sure you check out their YouTube channel. And they were sharing all about just different information on how to just do better with getting in people's inbox, increasing your open rates. And the first part of the open rate has to be that you have to appear in the inbox. And so they just talked about a lot of really, really good tips. And I wanted to just share a couple of them with you all. Because again, as we're getting into the holiday season, the last thing you want is to be having this whole plan of, oh, I'm going to send out these emails, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to launch this and this, that, and that. And nobody sees it, right? Like it lands in their spam folder, or they just don't click on it, or whatever the case is. And I do want to just kind of throw out there as well, because I've dealt with this personally, and women that I've worked with have also shared it too. And it can sometimes feel discouraging, but people are going to unsubscribe. Okay. So I do just want to say that you can put your heart and soul in an email and you're going to get an unsubscribe. And I don't think that it's something you should take personally. There's so many different reasons why it can happen. And even look at your own behavior with your own email list. There may be times where you're just trying to simply get stuff out of your inbox. I don't know about y'all, but Google is always yelling at me about my inbox being full, like in my personal email. And sometimes I'm just going on an unsubscribe spree just so that I can simply get the stuff out of there, right? So that I can clear it out. Sometimes that's the case. Sometimes around the holidays, when there's just so much noise from so many different businesses, I'll do it. Sometimes I will do it because maybe I don't agree with what they're sending, or it's not resonating with me anymore. So there's a lot of different reasons, but I just share that because as you start to get into this, and we're going to talk about consistency, I don't want you to feel defeated because you're like, oh, well, somebody just unsubscribed. The hope is that what you're doing and your plan, you're going to continue to grow. People are always going to leave. People are always going to unsubscribe. But as long as you're continuing to show up for yourself and be consistent, you will continue to see people pouring in just as much, if not more. Okay, so the benefit of having a list, first off, just in case if we need to cover that, I've kind of talked about it a little bit, but is really to have a way to connect with your people outside of social media. It's a way for you to launch. It's a way for you to bounce ideas off of people. It's more of a safe place because 9 times out of 10, if people are on this list, it means that they have decided that they wanted you to be able to come into their inbox, whether they signed up for a free opt-in that you provided to them, or maybe it was an event and you had a sign up for people to join. Whatever the case is, there was some kind of connection that happened in an exchange, and this is a really big deal. So that's why it's important to have one. And definitely make sure you check out the series. I forgot to link y'all. See, this is why I'm out of practice. There was like some links I wanted to include in this, so I'll make sure that I include them right when I get off. But one of them was the link to the series. I have a playlist for it though here on the channel. Okay, so let's talk about the ways to increase your open rates. So the first one is to warm up the list. So the way that Flodesk basically described this, it was a really cool concept, and I definitely tried it out and it definitely worked. Okay, so that's why I wanted to share it with you, because it totally worked, is to take a look at your existing list. So this is going to be for people that already have a list currently. Okay, and it could be one you just started this year, maybe you've had it for multiple years. It really doesn't matter how many people are on there. This is something that everyone can apply. And all that you want to do is really take a deep dive into your analytics and look at how things are performing. Look at the people that interact and engage the most with your emails. Those are going to be kind of considered like your biggest fans, essentially. The people that always pretty much open every single email that you send. They're clicking on most of the links, and they open them. And that's basically what it is. That's what you're looking for. It's like, who is opening, my open rate. And if you have a platform that will allow you to do that, there's so many email platforms. I'm a Flodesk user, so I will mention that a lot. But whatever the case is, you want to be able to check that engagement portion and just see whoever that top group of people is, whether, let's say if you have 100 people on your list, maybe that top 10 group, or 10 or 15 people. If you have 1,000 people, it might be maybe that top 50 to 100 people. If you have over 5,000, that might be maybe the first like 3 to 500 people. So it's going to be a little bit different for every amount, but you want to really just look at it in tiers of who opens it the most. And then from there, you're going to put everybody in a group from the most open rates. So this would be people that I would say maybe opens it at least 95% of the time, maybe not 100. That's not realistic, but if someone is opening your email more than 95% of the time, I'm going to consider them a top fan. Okay. So you're going to put them in that group. Anyone that's maybe somewhere between like 85 to 90%, even 90 to 95%, put them in kind of like the next tier. So just look at it like there's levels to it. And then from there, you're going to keep trickling down until you get to a point where you're to the people that are maybe like under 50%, under 40, 30%, or whatever the case is. And the reason that you're doing this is because you want to essentially, what they say, warm up your list. So you're going to split these people up into actual groups. Now, Flowdesk calls these segments, and the segments are just essentially a bucket of people that you literally label them on there, and you can put them whatever you want. So for me, I ended up doing mine, and I literally call it like warm group one. I think I called my warm group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I had a total of 7. And I sent out these different, or not sent out these different, I sent out an email to every single one of them, and I did it kind of staggered, and I did it to the top list first. So you send it to the people that have opened it the most, and 9 times out of 10, you're going to get like close to 100% open rate. Okay. So what basically happens is it's now telling, like Google and, the different kind of like whatever the little things that are in the tech world that make all this stuff work. It's telling them like, hey, these people like the emails. Let's push this. Let's keep it going. So then a couple days later, you send it to the next tier of people. And then a few days later, you do that. And then you continue to keep doing it. It might take you a couple of weeks to get through everybody, but you want to do it in that way. Started with that top fan group and then slowly working your way down to like the least open rate group. And by the end, the hope is that the open rates increase, because a lot of times it'll end up in people's spam or even like the promotions folder. Sometimes I've seen like, even because I'm subscribed to my own list so I can like test out how stuff comes through. And sometimes I'll end up in my promotions folder. I'm like, what is going on? Right. And a lot of people don't check that. And so this is just a way of kind of kicking it off. So this is for people that if you have taken a break from your email, let's say it's been several months, maybe it's been over a year, whatever the case is, try this warm up your list method, because it's a way to get back out there and get started. And the email can be whatever you want it to be. I think mine was more of like a personal one, if I remember correctly. And I was just really just sharing where I've been. Like I had took probably at least about 3 to 4 or 4 months off from sending emails. And I just wanted to kind of share my heart, what I've been up to, what I was planning on doing when I come back. And that was pretty much it. But it allowed for people to connect with me. I had a little poll in there just to create some extra interaction, and it was great. So that's what I would suggest. Like, let's say if you have one, but it's been a while and you're trying to figure out how to pick back up, just share your heart, create an email just talking about what's going on, what they can expect, and then send it and do it in that tiered way. And what I noticed over time was that the open rates increased, even for the people that typically didn't open it. Like, let's say if it was like people that were under 50%, I saw that percentage go up. And that first couple of groups, I was like giddy, y'all. Like I was checking this. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. So it's just cool to see, you learn about something and then actually walk it out and see how it works. And it was actually really cool. So that's the first thing I have on here, is to warm up your list. And so from there, don't drop off. The hope is that you keep going. And that's my next point I have on here, is to be consistent. And consistency is going to look different for everyone. Don't feel like you have to be showing up in somebody's inbox every day. It doesn't even have to be every week if you don't have it. It could just be simply once a month. I think Flowdesk recommended, if possible, if you can do once a week or even every other week, that would be great. But even once a month is better than nothing, y'all, okay? And the reason, again, for this is because when you're consistent, people can know what to expect from you, and it just doesn't come off by surprise. And I really like it too, because I never want to be a person that comes off super salesy. That's just not my personality at all. And so I do really like to check in and share value and share free things and just like touch base. And then occasionally I'm like, oh, but hey, I'm launching something, girl. Like, come find out about this. And so it's a nice balance when there's consistency, because I don't always have to feel like every email that I'm sending out, I'm trying to sell something. And everybody's business model is going to be different. Some businesses, that's strictly what they are in the inbox to do. And that kind of like that tone is set from the beginning. Like, some of these like different clothing stores we sign up for example, or different things like that. It's like, what the expectation is. But depending on the type of brand you're trying to build, and I know many of you are probably similar to me like this, you want to build one that probably has some depth to it, right? And it has some impact. And so that is why I think it's really important to make sure that you're connecting with people outside of just making it so salesy all of the time. And then the last thing I have in here for increasing the open rates is to clean it up. And if you've ever seen where people will ask you straight up, like, comment to this or let me know, do you click on this if you want to continue to receive emails from me? There's a reason for that. When you clean up your email list, it's getting rid of the people that are not interacting. If you're constantly sending emails to an inbox and they don't open it, 9 times out of 10, that is hurting your open rates. It's hurting your chances of it showing up in places other than like spam and promotions and different things like that. So I would say 3 to 6 months, go in and look at the engagement. So like that group of people that I talked about, that one that it's like less than 50%, 30% open rate, really look at that list. And if they haven't engaged or opened anything in many months, it might be time to go ahead and remove them from the list. And they can always rejoin again, right? If the opportunity allows. But cleaning it up, I used to think that was, and this is a very new thing for me, y'all, but I always just held on to every single person that signed up on my list for years because I was like, oh, I don't want to lose this person. But when they explained it in the presentation, I'm like, it makes so much sense because it's actually hurting me when I'm just holding on to them. And so I still have these people. They're kind of like in their own little section. I put them in a segment. So they're not gone, but they're unsubscribed from my main communications. And that way they're not getting anything from me, because if you're not opening it 9 times out of 10, you don't want it anyway, right? And that just is a win-win all around. So those are the things I wanted to share, because sometimes it's not the things that I know I have heard of when it comes to, sending emails and just increasing open rates and just different best practices basically when it comes to what it means to like send out a newsletter and different things. So if anyone has any questions about email list building or just business stuff, please put it in the comments, because I would love to be able to help anyone or share anything. And I see a couple more people have said, hey, hi, is it Rose? And okay, then this username T-Plas. Hello, thank you guys for joining. Okay, y'all. And then before we transition to the Bible portion of this, I have just a few more things in my little notes. So please, if you have a question, definitely ask. Okay, so I have in here, and I'm literally going to read verbatim what I wrote, because when I tell y'all mom brain and I be trying to like look at the notes and talk, and it's just not working right now. So I put in here that your newsletter should create the tone that you want to set. Okay. And I think that just goes without saying. But when you decide, like, okay, well, what do I want to talk about in my newsletter? Or what do I say to these people? Think about the tone that you want to set. What is the message that you're trying to convey? Who are you trying to help? How you show up in someone's inbox is important, because that will allow for them to see you outside of maybe like, the face that you may have, like when you are on Instagram, for example, like that. Or it's outside of just like the packages that they receive from your business. This is you really getting an opportunity to connect with them on a deeper level. And so when you think about that, like, what are some of the things you enjoy? If there's newsletters that you regularly like to indulge in, what are some of the different features that they have? How often are they sent? What are the subject lines that make you want to click and open them up? And I don't mean like, clickbaity type things, but sometimes, in order to get people to see what's going on, you may have to put a little something in there other than just like monthly newsletter, right? Like you want to add a little bit of something in there. And so just thinking about how you want the tone to feel. I know for me, I always want any email that someone gets from me to feel faith-based in some way. And I want them to feel motivated or encouraged to do something. There might be different topics, but I always want to make sure I do that. So I might do that through the form of some type of, like, I'm doing a freebie every month now. So it might be a freebie that I'm doing where it kind of helps someone take action. It might be some steps to do something, a journal prompt. I might share a story in hopes that it will encourage someone else. So the point is, I want people to be able to feel like I want to take action after they read my emails. And then I always just want people to just feel seen in some way, whatever that may be. Again, that's going to look different, but that's kind of some of the things I think about when I'm putting together my newsletters and just the different communications and things that I have. And you can do this as often as you want. Like I said, at least once a month, I think is best. But if you can do it more frequently than that, it's definitely no harm in it. Okay, so let's see. Planning, living, and loving. Hey, she said, should we send an email to the people we are going to drop? Wait, okay. Should we send an email to the people we are going to drop to see if they want to continue? So you definitely can. And I think that that is something you totally could try. I think for me, I decided not to. And the only reason is because they have been on my email list for so long. Like, I mean, people that have been on there for years, and they were like, they hadn't been active in a really long time. So for those people, I just went ahead and moved them. And then I decided that anybody else that was over a certain percentage, I went ahead and still decided to send those emails out. But that was just a personal choice. I think it would be great to send that email because you never know. You might get a couple people that are like, no, I don't, like definitely keep sending them to me. So I think that's a wonderful idea. And depending on what type of platform you have, there's a really easy way you can do it as well, because you can have them simply click a button and then it will automatically put them into a segment for you that will basically say like, hey, this person clicked, they're still interested, they want to be here, basically. So you can set it up that way so it's very automated, so you're not having to like go in and decipher who clicked and all that stuff. Like, it'll automatically drop them in, which will make that step really nice. Okay, let's see. Rose said, what made you go with Flowdesk versus the other companies? That's a really, really good question. So I ended up getting a course back in, I guess that would have been 2019, y'all. I'm pretty sure. I'm sure you guys are familiar with Jenna Kutcher. She has it's like an email building course, basically. And it was the first time that I really had thought about taking an email list seriously. And in the course, she actually shared about Flowdesk because I had never heard of it. And at the time, they were running, well, actually, they still do. It's not even at the time, they still do. They were running a promotion where you can get 50% off of the regular monthly cost. And she had her link for it. And I was like, oh, this is cool. It was really pretty as well. Like, the layouts were really nice, very user friendly. Those were kind of the main things that drew me to it. But I would say what's even more of a benefit is the reason why I stayed with Flowdesk. And I think, one, the price is right. Okay. The price is amazing. And the fact that you get unlimited subscribers is amazing too. So if you figure I started with just a couple of hundred people, which was a huge deal for me. But as I've grown, now I'm in the thousands of people, and the price has stayed the same consistently. So that's one thing that I really like about it. I am sad though, because I'm sad, but I also get it. They're actually changing their pricing model. So in November, they're going to be getting rid of the unlimited plan that they have, y'all. And they're going to be doing more of like a tiered plan. So basically, as your list grows, the price will change based off of that. So it'll go up, which makes sense, right? Because of course, there's going to be more bandwidth required to be able to have those bigger lists. Because I mean, it's like a small business that has 50 people is paying the same amount as someone that has 50,000 people. But it's a great time to get in on Flowdesk, y'all, right now, because this is going to be the last time that they're offering this unlimited plan. So just a few months left, and then they're going to be calling this kind of like the legacy plan, and then they're shifting to this whole new model. So if anyone is considering Flowdesk, definitely check any of my videos where I talk about it. I have my link in there. You can get 50% off of your first year, and then you will be locked in that legacy plan. But Rose, yeah, I think that was one of the biggest benefits, is just because the price didn't change as it grew. And yeah, they just overall, it's user friendly. As the years have gone on, they've added so many integrations. Again, it's very user friendly. I'm all about user friendly, y'all. Okay, all about it. I don't want to be sitting there trying to figure out stuff for hours. And yeah, so I really, really like it a lot. And if you ever received an email from me in the past 6 or 7 years, it's come from Flowdesk pretty much 9 times out of 10. So it is by far one of my favorite tools for my business. And even with like the break that I've taken, I basically have cut back on all of my things that I had, like all of my software and stuff. Flowdesk has remained. Okay, Flowdesk has not gone anywhere at all. Okay, anyone else have anything before we transition? Hey Yvette, What's up, all? It's been so long. How are you? Yes, user friendly support. And yes, definitely. And I like too, one of the things about, and I'm sure other companies do this too, I'm really locked in with them. So I don't know. I can't speak for other companies, but I like the fact that they do have content that speaks to how to use their platform. So if you're wanting to know, for example, like the best practices thing that I shared, they share that with the public. So you can go on their YouTube channel, you can watch those tips to help you. If you want like some very specific steps on how to create an opt-in or make a workflow or, do a layout, they have that type of thing in there. Anyone can become an affiliate with them as well. So just like I'm sharing and talking about like, oh, you can use my link, like you can have a link too, right? And you can make commissions off of those links. So I think it's great because not only do you get to build your email list on a wonderful platform, but it could turn into a little side something for you as well, right? You could get some income just by simply sharing something that you naturally use and love. So that's another really cool benefit about it as well. Hey, Jamie, how are you? How are you? How are you? Always such valuable content, always right on time with the topics. I'm so glad. So glad. Hey, Yasmin. Is it Yasmin? Yasmin or Yasmin? I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Wanted to know what are some things you implemented for a call to action? Okay, so give me a little bit more. When you say call to action, do you mean like the thing that got them to sign up for my email list? Is that what you're saying for call to action? I usually like an opt in. Let me know. Hey, oh, Takia, watching from North Carolina. It's been way too long. Yes, it has been way too long. I'll keep it short. You look great, still providing value, empowering, and pouring into all the best qualities of women everywhere. Missing this. Thank you so much. I know. I told my husband the other day when I was planning on doing this, and shout out to Shalina, y'all. That's my accountability partner. I've talked about her so many times. She had said it to me the other day because I'm doing this series, and I'm just keep it real with y'all. I fell off over the weekend. Okay, I was supposed to be getting my batch record on, and instead I got my relax on the couch on. Okay, and then the weekend came and went, and then we're back in the swing of things of the week, and I'm like, oh, and so she's like, oh, you should just go live, and I was like, oh, I haven't gone live in forever. So I'm so glad to be on here with you all because when I tell you going live is one of my favorite things, and but yeah, I was telling my husband, I'm like, it's been so long. I'm like, now that Landon is a little bit older and I feel like my anxiety level is starting to even out a little bit. I'm like, maybe I could get back into this. This could be more of a regular thing again. So we'll see. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So yes, the opt-in. So for that, I'm just rereading your question. Okay. So where did your question go? Okay. Wanted to know what are some things you implement. Okay. So for the opt-in, this is a great question. I think the biggest thing to consider is what are you trying to do in this season? So if you're getting ready to launch something, or are you just in a process of just trying to get some brand awareness, really figuring out like what your focus is right now will be really helpful. Because if you are getting ready to launch something, let's just say, for example, if I want to use, I don't know, let's just say if I'm going to be launching a course or something, and I know that the course is going to be talking about, let's just use one of my actual courses, the Handmade Planner Masterclass, right? I'm going to use a real example. Before I launched the Handmade Planner Masterclass, I decided that my opt-in was going to be a handmade evaluation guide. So the guide basically it helped qualify people for the course, but that's not really what I'm trying to say, how can I say it? It wasn't packaged that way, but for me, that's how it was. So people basically, they watch my video. I had like a mini series that I did. So this is what you would do. Think about, whatever it is that you offer, and you can definitely share more in the comments if it's a product or a service, what you offer. Think about what are some things you can pull from that. So for me, the course, I decided I wanted to pull just the idea of like, well, is handmade for me? Is this something that I even want to do? Because people were watching my channel and it looked all cute and fun, but I wanted people to know the real. I wanted people to know the ins and outs. Like, it's not all it's cracked up to be. It is labor intensive. It can be expensive, right? So giving all those things to qualify people essentially, but the guide helped them to really get the first steps. It told them the tools that they were going to need. It told them exactly what are some of those things they need to be considering when they're thinking about, okay, what do I need to look for if I'm going to do a handmade planner? And then what that allowed it to do is it now has given them not only a quick win, but it's given them some actual action steps, right? And it's given them the value to show like, oh, she's provided me with a lot already. And then for me, on the flip side, it's anyone that I know that's joining that list is someone that has somewhat of an interest in making handmade planner. And then from there, that can then pour into whatever, you decide to do with your funnel. So that opt-in can be a lot of things. You can do a workbook. You could do a free challenge. You could do an email challenge where it's like maybe it's a 7-day challenge or however long you want it to be, but every day they get an email from you and it leads to this result at the end. You could do a guide. Like I have one running right now with my Grow Your List series. It's the newsletter planning guide. Make sure y'all get that. I think that is in the description. And that helps people to figure out like, well, what do I talk about on my newsletter? You want to make it relevant to what you're planning on launching or just what your current focus is. And think about something too that will be evergreen, that will, no matter what time of year is, it's going to be working for someone no matter what. So even though like I did my How to Start a Stationary Business series back in January, literally today, someone signed up for that stationary starter pack that I offered for free because at any time of the year that's relevant. So those are some things to consider as you do it. And what else? So what did I say? A workbook, a challenge. It could be like a bonus episode, like if you have a podcast or a YouTube channel or something. It could be like a private episode that only the people that sign up can get access to. There's so many things that you could offer, but just make sure that it makes sense for your bandwidth, like what you actually can handle. I think that's really important, but also that it is fitting the piece of the puzzle of what you have coming up as well. I think that's always important. So like I knew I was launching that course, so I did that guide and that made sense. Or I've done so many, and y'all, I got so many freebies. I don't know if you signed up for one of my things, comment in the chat, put a heart or something. Okay, if you signed up for one of my free opt-ins, because I have so many. But yeah, that's the way to do it. I hope that was helpful. Definitely ask if there's anything else more you want to know. Okay, it says yes. I've been thinking about the process as well. I want to view my email list as my own personal social media, my community and people. Exactly. And I think that there's just so much power in that. There's so much freedom in that, of knowing that you are creating this just world of your own, of people that just relate to you, right? That your tribe. And I think that it's important. It really is. Especially today. I think it's just important because there's so many people out here with AI now and all these different things. This is just another way for you to really build trust with your audience and be like, hey, I am a real person. This is really me. This is the value that I have to offer. So I just think that it's such a great thing to have. Such a great thing.